Hi everyone. So I put out a meme or an image, if you will, the other day. And it was about when was the last time you looked in the mirror and you saw love looking back at you. And that felt like a really pivotal message to share, to have us kind of ponder and whatnot. So I put it, in like a meme or an image and posted it. But something about that it didn't seem like it was enough. It's like we needed to have a conversation about it. And so I was sitting here kind of thinking like, well, what's the conversation? Because the image really says it all right there. But it was more an invitation to discover or delve into why and the vulnerability that comes from staring at ourselves in the mirror. And now that sounds kind of silly, but there are so many people that truly do avoid looking at themselves in the mirror. Spending, several years as a personal trainer and kinesiologist, I would deal with a lot of people which, were working out in front of a mirror to watch form and stuff. And I remember there was many clients that would not want to look in the mirror. Like to actually look in the mirror to watch themselves was so incredibly difficult, let alone to look in the mirror to see what it was, the things that they wanted to change. And so sometimes we just wouldn't even deal with the mirror for the first while until they could just get comfortable in their own skin, right? Then you get the other kinds of people that love to look in the mirror because what they're seeing is simply the surface of themselves. And they may have a beautiful surface. If we compare them to a car, maybe they are like the sports car, right? And they love to look at that, and they're happy to look at that, and good for them for being happy about it. That's great, right? But the vulnerability comes when we are willing to look past those two things, either the good or the bad. When we're willing to look past that in the true, into the true essence of the person, which is inherently ourselves, that is so vulnerable. I dare you guys to try it. In fact, not even a dare, I invite you to try it because there's so much beauty and bounty that comes from it. When you are willing to look into your own eyes in the mirror for an indefinite amount of time until you get to a point where you're actually comfortable. You may even become curious. You may even feel a sadness well up within you, or you may find a relief that finally you feel you are being seen. Now, what I'm getting at is we go through life so often and we're looking for external sources to give us a feeling that we are accepted, that we're loved, that we are good enough, all the things, self-worth and everything. And we can have a whole bunch of people fill our bucket with all of that, tell us all the time, we're doing a good enough job and all this kind of stuff. But it will never feel satisfying enough as you telling that to yourself. And the value in this is that once you get to a point where you can look at yourself in the mirror and accept who you are, both inside and outside, for yourself being completely whole, perfectly complete, then you have arrived at a place where anything external to that is going to be a bounty. It's going to add to an already full bucket. And I'm not talking about an egotistical bucket of I'm so amazing, look at me, not that. But I'm talking about a bucket of self-worth, a bucket full of positive sense of self, of purpose, of whatever you want to title it, but it's something that it comes from within so that everything else added to it is a bounty and you're not searching external sources to validate and fill that bucket. True peace and happiness comes from an internal bucket that is full because you have filled it. And sometimes the entry into filling that bucket is to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and see love staring back at you, even if it takes several tries. So with the beauty of this very revealing supermoon that we have, I invite you guys, take this energy of completions and endings and releases. Take this energy, meet yourself in the mirror. Maybe you're introducing yourself for the first time, or maybe you guys go way back. Either way, hang out with yourself in the mirror. See where you're at. Where do you need to fill your bucket? Because only you can truly fill your bucket. And it's so worthwhile when you do. Happy full moon.